Good morning and welcome into the Lifeline Morning Show. I'm Steven. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. You know, I love to get your day started off on the right foot, and to do that, I've got an inspiring quote this morning. Now, this one in particular comes to you from Gertrude B. Stein, who said, "Silent gratitude isn't very much use to anyone." Oh, think about that one for a second. Ooh, silent gratitude. It's not much use, is it? I mean, we might feel it. We might internalize our thankfulness and our gratefulness on the inside of us, but there's something about that feeling on the inside that makes itself want to be known on the outside. And really, it's a point of communication as well. So, if you're feeling gratitude today, maybe it's time to be vocal about it. Maybe it's time to talk to the person that you're grateful for. Yeah, maybe it's time to compliment them. Maybe it's time to tell somebody else why you're so grateful, why you're so thankful. Maybe it's time to speak up to God and tell him, "Father, thank you for this. I enjoy it so much. I'm so grateful for this gift that you've given me." See, that's a point of contact, a point of conversation where you can start that dialogue with your Heavenly Father or with somebody else. It's a great way to share good news, and there's something about good news that makes you want to share it anyway. So maybe you're really shy and you kind of clam up when you get around other people. Well, here, do something a little out of the ordinary today. Open up, if for no other reason, just to share your gratitude. Do it with somebody today and see if it doesn't make it a little easier next time to speak up. Yeah. Because, hey, you've got good news to share. You should go and tell somebody. Now, we got a lot of good stuff to talk about, so I hope you'll stick around.
The quote goes like this: one day or day one. One day or day one. I'll do it one day. Okay, that's up to you. Or day one.
If you've got a farm, you've got to take a lot of care with those animals out there, especially in this summer heat. So how are you helping them stay cool? I've got an idea for you coming up. I think you're going to love. Stick around.
Hey, babe. What are you doing?
Giving them chicken kebabs.
That's
Not chicken kebabs like we like. Chicken kebab for Taylor.
some of them think it's way too early for the crazy stuff you do. Are you going to give one to the baby chicks? Aw.
That's Hannah and Trey Neesmith. They are a lot of fun to follow over on TikTok, and they're locals. Trey, he is, he works at Marshall Primary Care. And then Hannah, you know her from Matlock Realty up in Arab. So they have a farm, and they're always taking care of their animals. And you heard there that Trey's putting out chicken kebabs. Now, he's got some cucumbers and some tomatoes and some good stuff for these chickens. And basically, they're on these skewers. He sticks the skewers in the ground so the chicks can just come up and peck away, just eat at them. It's great, right? And you've got to think about all those animals on your farm with this summer heat. That's a great way to help them cool off. You know what else is a great way to help animals cool off? And I checked this, from horses to even these other critters right here. Yeah, those turkeys, they enjoy watermelon. I saw a video just yesterday of Ryder. Now, he is a voiceover guy. He does like movie trailers and stuff. I follow him on TikTok too. And he has horses. And it showed a video of him. He was at the grocery store with like 3 watermelons in his cart. He brought them home, busted those things open, and the horses ate them up. And then I just saw a video of a bunch of turkeys who found out that watermelon was to be eaten. The pigs were eating on it, and the turkeys came running. It was hilarious. So making sure that those animals are nice and hydrated and that they're kept cool, well, that definitely helps on your farm. Did you know watermelon is packed with electrolytes and potassium, magnesium? That's vital to keep chickens hydrated when temperatures are high. So there you go. Just an idea. Maybe sharing some watermelon with the farm animals. It'll go a long way. Thanks for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Now your word of life. Today it comes to you from Psalm 59, verse 16 in the New Living Translation of the Bible. But as for me, I will sing about your power. Each morning I will sing with joy about your unfailing love, for you have been my refuge, a place of safety when I am in distress. Oh, you know what? When something good happens to you, you want to tell the world about it. And this free gift that we've been given from God through Christ, that's worth sharing. So why don't you share this word of life with somebody? We've made it real easy for you to do it. We've got it across all of our socials. That's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. So we've got it in photo and video form to make it really easy to share right there. Thanks for hanging out with me right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Feel like you're going through a storm right now? I've got a little encouragement for you.
Before God calms the storm, he has to calm you. He has to calm you before he'll ever calm the storm. Do you know why? Because Jesus doesn't care about your storm. He cares about you. He cares about you. He doesn't want to see you going through this. He doesn't want to see you panicking. But before he's just going to stop the storm, he wants to get to you first and say, no, stop looking at the storm. Look at me. Calm down. I've already overcome this. I've already taken care of it. See, his grace and love is so big that he will always meet us right where we are in the middle of it. But it's so big, his love is so big that he'll never leave us in the middle of it. I don't know where you are in your storm right now, whether you're in the middle of it, you're heading into one, or you're coming out, but I know that it's going to keep happening over and over and over. There's nothing we can do about that. But what we can do is learn to shift our focus from everything that's going on around us back to the one who's already overcome it all. And say, you know what? I'm just going to focus on you. I'm not going to worry about anything. I'm going to pray about everything. I'm going to tell you what I need. I'm going to thank you for what you've done. See, it may not make the storm go away, but it's going to help you get right through it. So many times when we're focused on the storm, it seems like it lasts forever. But have you ever noticed that the storm always ends right when you stop worrying about it? Is that a coincidence? Or is that how God works? That you were never intended to worry about that storm. That storm was never meant to change the plan. The plan was still to get to the other side.
Hey, this morning on my way in, I was kind of listening to my phone, right? And I heard a song that took me back to my childhood. And I want to play it for you. Now, this is one from The Jungle Book. You remember Baloo the bear? He was my favorite character, right? He was just happy, carefree, and he had this message he wanted to share. Something about, what was it? The bare necessities of life? I came across Ryan Larkins, who does a great job with that song. So I want you to hear his version of it and see if it doesn't put a smile on your face.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes to bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the trees to make some honey just for me. When you look under the rocks and plants and take a glance at the fancy ants and maybe try a few, the bare necessities of life will come to you. Will come to you. Will come to you.
Good morning.
Oh, hey, Grace. How are you, darling?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing okay. Just chilling here in the studio, having a good old time. Are you headed to school?
Yes, I am actually already at school.
Oh, you're waiting in the car line, huh?
Uh-huh.
I gotcha. All right. Well, what can I do for you?
I just wanted to say hi.
Oh, okay. Well, hi.
I love you.
I love you too. Would you like a particular song for me to play?
Yes, please.
All right, which one?
You Lose by Emery Berry.
I can play that for you. Darling, I hope you have a wonderful day at school, and I will see you this afternoon, okay?
Okay.
right.
Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.
I always love hearing from Grace. You know, she just started her grade 3, like Monday. So this is her 4th day of school. And it's weird, too. It's like that first day she got out early because of weather. It was just a strange kind of start to the year. But hey, I know some kids right now, they're on a 2-hour delay. So they're not quite in the car line as we speak. I was actually doing a little research on that. It looks like DeKalb, Fort Payne, Jackson County, Marshall County, and Scottsboro City are all on that 2-hour delay. So I wanted to give you a heads up though. I'm planning on starting this thing we call the car line competition tomorrow morning. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. Your chance to win 3 gift cards. 1 to Wendy's for a Frosty, 1 to Albertville Home Bakery for a couple cookies, a couple cupcakes, and 1 to the Caring Heart Thrift Store up in Arab. So 3 gift cards, 1 to keep, 2 to give away. And we're going to start the car line competition tomorrow morning. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. All right, here's that request from my daughter Grace. Here's You Lose by Emery Berry.
Get out my face, get out my head, get out my mind too. By the way, take your lies and your half-truths.
You know, I don't think anybody enjoys being uncomfortable, but did you know that it's necessary for growth? I came across this story over on the socials, and I wanted to share it with you. It's pretty insightful. See what you think about this. It's all about lobsters.
I was sitting in a dentist's office and looked at an article that said, "How do lobsters grow?" Well, I don't care how lobsters grow, but I was interested in it. And it points out that a lobster is a soft, mushy animal that lives inside of a rigid shell. That rigid shell does not expand. Well, how can the lobster grow? Well, as the lobster grows, that shell becomes very confining. Right? And the lobster feels itself under pressure and uncomfortable. It goes under a rock formation to protect itself from predatory fish, casts off the shell, and produces a new one. Well, eventually, that shell becomes very uncomfortable as it grows, right? Back under the rocks. Good. And the lobster repeats this numerous times. The stimulus for the lobster to be able to grow is that it feels uncomfortable.
What do you think about that? Maybe that discomfort that you feel is actually a good thing? Wow. There is this amazing group of people that are headed to school right now. And I'm not talking about our kids this time. I'm talking about those teachers. Yeah, they have huge hearts. They take care of our kids as if they were their own. And I'm so glad that we've got great teachers taking care of them. And sometimes I think we need to share a little extra love with the teachers. So, hey, I've got an inspiring story for you that's going to do just that. Our teachers really go out of the way to make sure every kid feels special. Kind of like this one.
Hello, my name is Matt. I'm a teacher, and today I want to tell you a story about a pencil sharpener. My second year teaching, I had a student named Olivia who took things apart. And when I say apart, I mean break it down into each individual piece. She took apart my pens, the microscopes, and even a drawer from my file cabinet. I remember being nervous that if I left my room, my own chair would get dismembered. She occasionally got into some trouble because she never asked permission and rarely put things back together. But one day I put Olivia's skills to the test. My electric pencil sharpener wasn't working because some kid jammed a paperclip in there. So I contacted the only expert I knew. Hey Olivia, do you think you can take this thing apart and fix it? You would have thought I gave her $1 million. Are you serious? Yes, I can do it like right now? Yeah, Olivia, you can, but there's a catch. You have to try and put it back together when you're done. Well, I've never done that before, but I'll try my best. She took it apart, fixed it, and put the darn thing back together in less than 10 minutes, and the entire class cheered her on along the way. As a teacher, you want everyone to have moments like that. So that's what I think about when I see a pencil sharpener. Who hasn't had the opportunity to shine yet, and how can we give them the chance?
All right, now we've got listeners in Gunnersville. I think that's Savannah Mitchell hanging out with us right now. Joel Modis is with us down in Palm Coast, Florida. We've got a listener right now over in Reno County, Kansas. And hey, I wonder if maybe you in Reno County, if you could email me, Stephen, that's with a V, at 885jfm.com. Let me know your name. I'd love to actually shout you out here on the radio. I'd appreciate that a whole lot. Plus, we got our listeners over in Helsinki, Finland. Same for you. My email, Stephen at 885jfm.com. Hey, for anybody listening to the stream, I would love to know your name or listening to the radio as far as that goes. You got my email now, so let me know. What's your name? I'll shout you out here on the radio. Sound good? Whether you're listening to us on the stream or the radio, I just want to make sure you understand that we're thankful for you. because you're the reason why we're here in the first place. Almost 28 years of reaching this world with some really good news. So we're getting ready to start the Varsity Radio Show back next week, right? Tuesdays from 2:30 to 4:30. We bring in local high school kids and we have fun with them. Talk about their faith, talk about their sports, talk about life in general. And as I'm getting ready to do this, I've been putting together some new promotional materials for the show. And on it, on the main logo, we're getting some stickers made. And these stickers, well, they've got all of our social logos on there. And I just had to change the Twitter one out because evidently the bird is out and the X is here. In fact, Twitter is no longer known as Twitter? What? Yeah, it's becoming X. That's the platform name, X. You even type in x.com, it'll take you to the Twitter site. It's weird. So they're rebranding and causing a lot of havoc with everybody who uses them and promotes the material on their site. So anyway, I wonder, is this going to stick? Is it going to be like X from now on, or is it going to go back to Twitter? Well, I found some evidence that sways one way. I'll share it with you next. And yeah, who knows? You might actually be able to have a piece of social media memorabilia in your own house. Oh, how's that? Stick around, I'll tell you. Evidently, Twitter is no more. Let me tell you why I'm saying that. Well, you know, ever since billionaire Elon Musk bought Twitter, it's been a little different, right? And he's now taken the company through a rebranding phase. So the bird is out and the letter X is in, because evidently Twitter is now X. That's the platform name. So I got to thinking, is this just some kind of stunt to gain some kind of popularity or to get, headlines in the news? Well, it looks like it's here to stay because, they've already taken signage off of the headquarters out in California. And now I'm seeing that they've got an auction ready to go. It's going to start September 14th at 9 o'clock Pacific. And it's got all kinds of stuff up for grabs, all kinds of the old bird icon and logo stuff, like coffee tables, like full-size wood block coffee tables in the shape of the Twitter logo, which is that blue bird, or a neon marquee light sign. They've got all kinds of things that were in the main offices there at the headquarters that they are going to auction off. Even life-size bird cages, like a human can fit inside. Yeah, they got weird with it like that too. So all these things are right now set at like $25 a piece. Yeah, and it's not just that either. It's all kinds of stuff from the corporate offices. They've got guitars, amplifiers, keyboards, furniture, all kinds of things that right now are slated to sell for $25. They're all slated that because the auction hasn't started yet. So we'll see what some of these pieces go for, but definitely a way to have some social media memorabilia in your home if you're into things like that. But I don't know what to think about this whole X thing. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm just going to type in x.com and I'm going to double check just to make sure I'm telling you correctly. Yes. You type in x.com, it takes you straight to twitter.com. So who knows how long the Twitter name will stick around, but it looks like it's definitely a done deal. It's actually, wow, changing. It's weird, right? Anyway, just wanted to keep you in the know on that. Thanks for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. I don't know what kind of socials you use, but you know what? You can find us on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Just type in 88.5_JFM. You'll see us right there. Well, it's all about being aware, being present in the moment, and being grateful. More coming up. Sometimes you just take things for granted and you don't mean to. And there's one thing that I am just rediscovering. It's that view on my way into work every day. See, I live in Arab. I work here in Guntersville. And so I've got to drive over the causeway to get to work. And when I do, that water is just gorgeous. The sun hits it just right. It's beautiful out there. So that's definitely something I'm thankful for. It puts a smile on my face. And there's something else too that I want to tell you about. So it's a little out there, but stick with me, okay? So around here, these roads, well, sure, they have designated names. But then for the locals, well, some of these roads, they have nicknames. One in particular is Browns Valley Road. It's not Browns Valley to the locals. Nope, it's Suck Egg Drive. Why? Well, there's the Suck Egg Farm that's down there. And Maybe people call it Suck Egg Holler. Anyway, it's funny. We had to detour one day, and the cop told us, yep, you have to go down Suck Egg. And I'm like, I'm glad I'm from around here, because if I weren't, I'd be lost. Anyway, that's the way I go home in the afternoons. And so while I'm going home, I'll go down Suck Egg Drive, and then I'll go ahead and swap over to Fry Gap. So I'm coming up the back side of the mountain toward Arab, right? But there's this little valley just before you come up the mountain. Now, off to the right, you see these old chicken houses. They're not in use anymore, and there is some pasture land right in front of them, and it's all fenced off for the cows. Well, every now and then you'll notice some cows grazing out there, but maybe twice a week you'll notice that these cows are accompanied by a special friend. A donkey. And this donkey, he's not just walking around aimlessly out there. No, anytime you see this donkey, he's standing right there at the edge of the fence looking toward the road. Why? I'm not quite sure. I don't know if he's saying hello to everybody who's passing by, but every now and then when I pass by, I'll see a truck stopped off on the side, pulled off there by the donkey, and they've got carrots and apples, and they're giving this donkey some treats. But there's just something about this donkey that makes me happy. It's like my birthday. Every time I see this donkey standing there at the road looking toward me, I just kind of, if I'm honest, kind of wave to him. Anyway, it's one of those little things that, you would look past. You would completely take for granted. But I like to try to stay open to things like that, because there's a lot in this world to be grateful for. Even a donkey standing on the side of the road, just inside the pasture fence. Am I weird? It's already 8 o'clock, and it's a Thursday? What does that mean? Well, today is Point Mallard Thursday. That's right, your chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to Point Mallard Water Park. There's still some summer left to have fun with. They're open until Labor Day, so here we go. This is a question that could land you a family 4-pack. Now, think about it. With us adults, people in general, we have different accents. We all might speak the same language, but depending on where you're from, you've got a different accent. You might sound a little country, or you might sound like a northerner. You might sound like you're, would you care for a spot of tea? British? Sorry for any Brits listening right now. That was awful. Or you got Australian accents, you got South African accents, and the list goes on and on. But when it comes to animals, can animals have accents too? Specifically, can a duck have an accent? Ooh, yes or no? 256-505-0885. Call me up. Let me know. All right, I've already got my caller. Goodness gracious. All right, stay on the phone line with me. Stay right there. I'll come right back and get your answer after I start this first song. I've got Lauren Daigle's new song, Thank God I Do, right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Well, guess what? Got an answer to that question that I just put out there. Here, take a listen to this and see what happened. Did he win it or did he not? Good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. What's your name?
Christian.
All right, Christian. Have I heard from you before?
I think I did Mother's Day. I ended up calling in and winning some gift cards, actually.
Very good. That's where I remember your voice from. Cool. Yeah. All right, so how did your summer go?
Pretty good.
Good. Now, what are you up to these days?
I'm actually on my way to school right now.
Oh, cool. What school?
It's actually a homeschool co-op. We meet once a week.
Nice. All right. So now, are you a student or are you a teacher? Because you got that kind of advanced voice there. You sound a little older than you probably are.
Oh, no, I'm a student. I'll be graduating this year, actually.
Oh, cool. So it's your senior year. Awesome. All right.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Well, I imagine you still enjoy going to water parks, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So you ever been to Point Mallard before?
Yes, a long time ago, actually.
Oh, a long time ago. Okay. Well, they got a lot of new stuff.
It's been a while.
They got a lot of new stuff. I went there as a kid, too, and I'm telling you, they've really grown that place. It's a lot of fun. So I'm going to give you a chance to win a family 4-pack if you can answer my question correctly. Can ducks have accents? Yes or no?
I want to go with yes. I would think, depending on the location, they might.
Well, is that your final answer?
I'll go with that.
All right, we're going with yes, and yes is correct. Congratulations.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wow. I came across some of these duck facts. I've been, fashioning all this about ducks since it's Point Mallard. Yeah. And from what research I found, ducks have regional accents. Like there was a study done over in London And the ducks that are in the city actually have a louder, more harsh quack than those in the country.
That's funny.
Yeah, so there you go.
Never knew.
Your intuition just won you a family 4-pack, man.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? So that's a lot of people you can take with you. 3 people. Who do you think you're going to take?
I'm in a family of 8, so that covers half of us right there.
Hey, there you go. Well, that works out, man.
Yes, sir.
Very good. All right, let me grab your address real quick, and I'll get these sent your way.
Okay.
Can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
Why do you listen to this radio station?
Oh, no, it's just so uplifting to be able to hear all sorts of different Christian artists, because, I mean, I use Apple Music some of the time, but, I mean, y'all's variety is just so much better.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome, man. Well, thank you. It's our job, it's our mission, it's our goal to make your day a little bit better. Are we doing that?
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Definitely have now.
All right, man. Hey, enjoy Point Mallard, and we'll talk with you soon, okay?
We will.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye. Well, how cool is that? Christian, thanks again for calling, man. You made my morning. All right. Well, hey, guess what? You're going to have a chance to win some Point Mallard Water Park passes next Tuesday and Thursday. Or how about a Lake Winnie Family 4-pack next Wednesday? Or how about some ice cream to Jaden's ice cream truck on Monday? All that's coming up. Plus, tomorrow in the 7 o'clock hour, we're going to start the car line competition. It's going to be a blast. So, hey, and just in case you didn't know how that worked, we do this during the school year. During the 7 o'clock hour, I'm going to have trivia questions. I'm going to give you a chance to call in and answer them. You answer correctly, you're going to win not 1, not 2, but 3 gift cards. 1 to keep, 2 to give away. And this is the part I love about it. I get to ask you, what 2 people are you going to bless with those gift cards? And then you get to tell me something special about them. It's a great way of sharing some love here on the radio, and it's always a blast. So I hope that you'll be listening tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. In the 7 o'clock hour, we'll be doing that. And of course, Monday through Thursday, we'll be doing 8 o'clock hour giveaways too. So keep listening, okay? Get some inspiration, some encouragement, and win some free stuff. It's a win-win-win, right? Here's Maverick City Music. Fear is not my future. Right here on the Lifeline Morning Show on your 88.5 JFM, making your day better. Just in case you didn't know, I want you to understand that you are the reason why we're here. Almost 28 years coming up in September. And we try to share some positive, encouraging music and messages that lift you up. We love sharing good news around here, right? And sometimes we just talk about stuff that we're all dealing with. If you're on social media, well, this morning I was talking a little bit about how Twitter is rebranding. Gone is the blue bird, and here is the new X. It's becoming X.com instead of Twitter.com. And so with change, some people enjoy that. Some people, it's like, hey, leave it alone. And I love that I get to hear from some of our amazing listeners about topics just on that. And I got a phone call just a few minutes ago. I want to share it with you. This is so cool. Take a listen. Good morning.
You're the announcer on the radio?
I am.
I was listening to you coming over from Scottsboro this morning.
Yeah?
And as far as Elon buying Twitter, I just think of it as SpaceX. I mean, he's put his trademark on that.
Exactly. It's weird though, because the bird is out, the X is in, and I was thinking maybe it was some kind of publicity stunt, but it looks like it's here to stay.
My sons build rockets in Huntsville. They're aeronautical engineers, and we were talking about it, and we kind of like it. We think it's cool.
Yeah.
Technology, you know. And Elon is kind of embarrassing NASA and all the prime contractors of the past, like Boeing and all those, and he's delivering goods at much less price.
Right.
But anyway, I kind of like it because it's X. He's successful at a lot of things, and I think it's kind of techy.
Yeah, thanks for that. Seriously, it's nice to hear from somebody who's liking the change, because sometimes we get stuck in our ways, and it's like, hey, it's the way it's always been, it's the way it needs to be, but change can be a good thing.
I'm not a social media child anyway. I'm like 68, and a lot of us just didn't grab it.
Yeah.
The younger people do. But I think it's kind of cool. SpaceX is their leading technology, and now he's got his own social media. And
right.
I wouldn't doubt that he didn't do it as much for his employees as he did anybody, because he's kind of that way.
That's a good point. What's your name again?
Rick.
All right. Where are you listening to us from?
Well, I get my hair cut in Gunnersville up there at Lena's, and I was just driving into a haircut this morning.
Cool. Okay.
And I listened to. I tell you what, when I was going through a divorce back in 2001, y'all used to have WJA used to have a transducer in Scottsboro.
Yeah.
Or a repeater. I guess it's a repeater.
Mm-hmm.
And on all those sleepless nights in the fall of 2001, that's when I fell in love with y'all's radio station.
Oh.
Fell in love with God again. And it's just hard times. And I tell you what, that all-night radio helped.
Oh, I'm so glad.
And I had never really been a fan of contemporary Christian, and I went through a total transformation. Man, I love it now.
Wow. That's so good. Rick, man, thanks for calling this morning. I know you were just calling about the Twitter thing. Or the X thing, I guess we should say now. But just hearing how the radio stations touch your life, I need to hear stuff like that. Because honestly, I sit here in a studio by myself with a microphone, looking at computer screens, hoping that what I'm saying is reaching somebody out there. And knowing the kind of impact this radio station has just helps me keep moving forward. So thank you for that. It really means a lot, seriously. And keep listening, man. We're here for you. You're the reason why we're here. And whether you're listening to us on the stream or the radio, you're important to us. I just wanted to make sure you knew that. Coming up here on the show, I want to talk with you about a very popular Bible verse, Psalm 23. I bet you've never thought of it quite like this before. I'll get a little help from Brian Trent next. The Bible, yes, that's the book for me. I stand alone on the Word of God, the Bible. I remember learning that in Sunday school. I think it was actually first at VBS. I loved VBS when I was a kid. I got to come together with other kids I didn't get to see very often. And then, we did like arts and crafts. It was a lot of fun. I remember painting this huge heart. That was like a place to put your Bible. It was really neat. That was back in the day. But hey, let's talk about the Bible for a minute. 66 books in the Bible. You got a shortest verse. You know where that one's at? Yeah. Well, that's over in, where was it again? I need to brush up on this. Yeah. Where was it? Hold on one second. I'll find it. It's Jesus wept, but where's it at? That is going to be John 11:35. Okay, there we go. How about the longest verse in the Bible? Esther 8:9. That's a pretty long verse. And there is one full psalm in this Bible that a lot of people know by heart. When you look at it, it's really not very long at all. No. Psalm 23. You ever read it before? Of course you have. It's just 6 verses, right? The Lord's my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. I heard you. You were reading along with me. You know that by heart, didn't you? Yeah? But I wonder if you've ever looked at it quite in this way. I'm going to let Brian Trent blow your mind this morning. In case you don't know who Brian is, he is a pastor from Hampton, South Carolina at the Lighthouse Church. And this guy just has a way of picking these scriptures apart and explaining them so well. So here, take a listen to this.
Let's talk Psalm 23. It's most people's favorite, but I mainly only hear it at funerals. Let's talk about it while we're living. I think there's something we'll miss if we're not careful. Something that could change everything in your daily walk. So according to Psalm 23, God leads us in paths of righteousness, which means he's ahead of me. It also says I'm comforted by his rod and his staff. So the rod is a symbol of strength and protection, and the shepherd would use it to fight off the enemy. The staff symbolizes his loving kindness and also identifies him as our shepherd. So his rod and his staff are on the sides of me. It says he anoints my head with oil, which is his joy. So he's over top of me with his joy. Lastly, he says his goodness and mercy follow me all the days of my life. That means he's coming up from behind me with his goodness and mercy. So don't miss this. God is leading me down right paths. God is over top of me, guarding me with joy. God is to the left of me with his strength and protection. He's to the right of me with his loving kindness. And if that's not enough, then he's coming up from behind me for the rest of the days of my life with his goodness and mercy. So how can I walk through the valley of the shadow of death and not fear and not even be rattled? Because I'm completely surrounded by God. The shepherd has me on every side. So you, my friend, need to get up. This ain't about you being strong. This is about you being completely surrounded by the Father. That is every reason we should be walking in confidence today.
What'd you think about that? That's a great explanation, isn't it? I hope that put a smile on your face, gives you a little oomph, a little encouragement, some boldness today to keep walking. You know that deer crossing sign you see along the highway? Is that there for the deer or is it there for the driver? I'm going to pull up one of these classic calls. If you've never heard this before, boy, are you in for a treat. And I got a story to follow it up with as well, so stick around. So Donna, well, she has a little bit of a problem, and she decided to call her local radio station and talk with the DJs about it. They had opened up the phone lines, and here she was. Now, it's from Y94 Playhouse in Fargo, North Dakota. Okay, if you've never heard this call before, oh my goodness, you are in for a treat, and I've got something to back it up with. Here, take a listen to this.
Well, I wanted to voice my opinion on something that's been bothering me for a really long time.
Okay.
I tried writing the newspaper and contacting TV stations, but nobody seems to want to stay with this. So that's why I'm calling you guys.
What's the issue?
Well, over the past few years, I've been involved in 3 separate car accidents involving deer.
Mm-hmm.
With the population and everything. Each of these incidents, they've occurred shortly after I saw a deer crossing sign on the highway. Well, my frustration is that Minnesota and North Dakota Departments of Transportation would allow these deer crossings to be in such high traffic areas. I mean, I've even seen them on the interstate. Why are we encouraging deer to cross at the interstate? I don't get it. That's such a high traffic area. I mean, I understand that deer are wild animals and they need to travel across the streets occasionally to survive, and of course to find food. But it seems to me that so irresponsible of us to allow these deer crossings to be in areas where these deer are so likely to be struck by oncoming traffic. I mean, wouldn't you agree? I mean, it's just, I mean, you think they would put deer crossings maybe, in, smaller towns, maybe during at a school crossing. It would be a safer place for them to cross.
Wait.
Put the deer crossing sign.
Deer crossings aren't telling deer that it's safe to cross there. It's just more of like an alert for drivers so they know it's like a high deer population.
The government put the deer crossings there. They can direct the deer population anywhere they want to by moving that deer crossing sign. I mean, why in the world would they place it on the highway or the interstate? There are so many other places I can think of than putting the deer crossing signs on busy highways and interstates.
You seem to be under the misunderstanding that the deer are somehow attracted to the deer crossing sign.
Well, yeah, the deer crossing sign is there to allow the deer to know that's where they need to cross.
Bless her heart. I think she really believes that. Oh, but those critters in the roadway, it doesn't always have to end tragically with an animal dying and with the person with a wrecked vehicle. I've got proof for you coming up next. Stick around. It's a pretty interesting story. So one of my favorite things at Walmart growing up was whenever we'd go there, I'd say, Mom, I'll be in electronics if you need me. So I'd go on over there and I'd peruse all the technology. I'm a techie kind of guy, right? But there's one thing I really loved looking through. I perused through all those posters. The posters that they have kind of set up where you flip through them and they're huge, and some of them are about video games and others, well, they're just funny. This one that I came across said, "Welcome to the Roadkill Cafe. You kill them, we grill them." So funny to me. And it went through a list of all of the different menu options they had available. And think about it. I mean, here in the country, you're liable to see an armadillo, a possum, sometimes a dog or a cat on the side of the road, tragically been struck by a vehicle, right? And sometimes you just cannot get out of the way quick enough. You can't swerve because you might swerve into oncoming traffic. So I'll tell you, true story, this happened to me here at the station. My truck stays parked out front, right? It was this one day I'd gotten done here. I was going outside and it was time to leave. So I got in the truck. I went ahead and I cranked it and I was just waiting for it to warm up a little bit. And it was sitting there idling for probably a minute and a half before I put it into drive and I started to move forward. And when I did, I felt this resistance. It's like, what is going on? It's like something's in front of the truck. So it kind of hopped over whatever it was and it got to going, but it really worried me. So I kind of pulled to the right instead of to the left, and I looked back. There was a turtle, a huge turtle that had evidently tried to seek shade underneath my front passenger tire. It was awful. That thing it was gone. It was no saving it. It was terrible. I felt so bad about it. And that's how it goes for a lot of animals on the roadway. But I've got a good ending to one of these stories for you, because I don't want to leave you on that low note. So there's this family, the Cottrell family, out in England, right? They were taking a day trip about 80 miles away. They were going to spend the day out there. And on their way, Catherine says, about 10 miles from their destination, they heard this, they saw this, I should say, pigeon. And they saw it in front of them, and then they didn't see it anymore. But they didn't see it fly away. They didn't necessarily feel the thud that you would hear from a larger animal. This was a bird. It's pretty light, right? Well, they didn't think much of it. Thought, well, maybe it got away. We just didn't see it fly away. So they went on. They spent the day, and then they came back to their home. And it wasn't until later that evening that a passerby came and knocked on their door and said, "Hey, did you know that there is a pigeon on the inside of the front grille of your car?" And they went out there, and sure enough, there was this tiniest crack, evidently where the pigeon had hit that grill, and it had slipped into that grill, and it was still alive. Yep, she ended up calling the animal rescue people. They came out, and they took the pigeon, and they nursed it back to health. He's good. Expected to make a full recovery. Might have had a clavicle fracture, but that's it. But isn't that weird? I mean, it's just enough space, just a crack big enough for that pigeon to just slip right in, and it went on the trip with them. Crazy, right? But glad it was a good ending to the story and not a bad one like it usually is. All right, back to the music. I just wanted to let you know, even little stories like that can have a good ending. And I'm all about good endings here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Here's Ben Fuller with But the Cross. Hey, just so happens I read the end of the book, and guess what? We have a good ending too. I'm a sucker for a good story, and I found one from Katie Westenberg. She says, "I haven't taught any of my children to ride a bike, not one of the 4. I've helped, for sure. I've held onto the seat and steadied them while they willed their bodies to balance and their feet to push the pedals, but my husband has always been the one to let go of the seat and enable their independence. This never even occurred to me until I was working with my youngest on riding without training wheels last month. My husband had been gone for the weekend, and sensing my little guy was ready, I took the training wheels off and started coaching him along. When my husband arrived home, he put one steady hand on the back of my son's bicycle seat, lingered for a mere second, and sent him on his way. Just like that, he was riding a bike, and I realized it was the letting go that was hard for me. If my husband hadn't come home, I might still be scampering along behind that little boy's bike, holding him back rather than watching him soar. One of the most popular posts on this blog is one I wrote last fall about the importance of teaching our kids to do hard things. Recently, a reader responded to that post by saying, "I really want to do this, but how?" Excellent question. And one Mrs. Can't Let Go of the Bicycle seat hasn't stopped thinking about it. Life is full of hard things, full of them. Learning to walk is tough. Growing up is challenging. Learning to become a good spouse is no easy feat. Settling into the role of mother is hard. Hard. So why wouldn't we want to prepare our kids to handle hard things well? To not balk at the pressure? Why shouldn't we seek to give them eyes that see beyond what's right in front of them, intentionally training them and equipping them with the tools to handle hard things? I'm thankful to the brave reader who asked that question because it's worth thinking about as a parent. Here are 5 things I want to be intentional about in raising kids who can do hard things, kids who are overcomers. Number 1, let them fail. Really, our home is a training ground for life, and so is yours. It's a place where our children are loved no matter what, a place where their worth is not based on performance, and the safest place for them to trip and fall and learn about what it takes to get back up again. Number 2, equip them. Watching our children deal with hard things gives us the opportunity to teach them how to respond well. Recently, my daughter took 2 weeks of group swimming lessons, something that was new to her. Although she was scared, she made it through the first week quite well. She conquered some fears, and by the end of the week, she was having all kinds of fun. However, after a long weekend, she began to fear swimming lessons again and didn't want to return for the second week. Through tears, she told me how much she hated swimming, and I quickly understood this wasn't really about swimming anymore. She was being seized by fear. She loved swimming just a few days earlier, and now she was believing a lie, believing her fears. And one thing I'm learning is that no matter how irrational, improbable, or ridiculous it may seem to someone else, fear is real. We all fear different things, but when you're in the midst of it, it becomes your reality. Minimizing someone else's fear is not helpful. So, what did she do for that daughter to help her want to get back in the pool again? Well, stick around because I want to share the rest of this. Tips 3 through 5 coming up here on the Lifeline Morning Show. A big thank you to Katie Westenberg for making this available. And I'm going to make the whole article available to you after we air the second part of this story coming up shortly, right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Stick around. You know, we look to our Father because He's a safe place for us. Our kids look to us as parents because we're a safe place for them. But if we're always protecting them from every hard thing, we're really doing them a disservice. We're kind of in the middle of reading through Katie's 5 tips on how to teach your kids to do the hard things, how to be overcomers in this life. We're about to get to tips 3 through 5. I hope you'll stick around because these are so good. Where we last left off, Katie was trying to comfort her child. Her daughter had gone to this 2-week swimming camp, right? The first week was over. She was really enjoying herself and she had the weekend, and then she was supposed to go back the following week, but she was scared of swimming again. What's the deal with that? Well, you see, Katie understood that this was definitely something that she was identifying with. She was finding that fear, and it was hard to overcome. And Katie says, I remember having a math teacher once who seemed to think all math was easy, which was great for him, but it didn't change the fact that it was not easy for me, ever. I fought for every good math grade I got. It never got easy, but I was able to learn the principles well enough to get through it and avoid it for the rest of my adult life. I'm kidding, partly. The same strategy applies to my scared swimmer. Telling her swimming is fun and not scary would not be helpful, but teaching her how we handle fear, how we fight lies that can eat away at our hearts is quite useful. Have your kids recite scripture, write the word, and pray about it together. Childhood fears can be exhausting and frustrating as a parent, but these are the moments when the Word of God can become living and active for our children, when they get to learn how to apply it to their everyday lives. What an awesome opportunity we have. And now we continue on with Katie's tips 3 through 5 on how to teach your kids to do the hard things. Number 3, talk truth. While we try to reshape hearts and complaining attitudes around here, we don't shy away from calling things hard. Learning to swim is hard, pulling weeds is hard, keeping a tidy home is hard. Sure it is, but that doesn't mean we don't do it. As my kids get older, we talk more and more about the hard things of life because they don't ever magically go away. We talk about their dad's job and the hard things he does there. We talk about paying bills and taxes. We talk about being treated unfairly or unkindly. Opportunities abound. That grumpy grocery store clerk who seems to be having a hard day, discuss it with your kids. That construction worker who's sweating up a storm in his hard hat, talk about it with your kids. Talking truth with your children rather than sugarcoating life lessons conditions them to understanding that hard work is a part of life and not something we shy away from. Step number 4, start training them. Have you ever considered intentionally training your children to do hard things, to push past their will and what they see right in front of them in order to learn the value of perseverance? You can be intentional about helping your children develop faithfulness and tenacity. Try taking on big challenges as a family. Help your kids engage in conversations outside of their comfort zone, or offer an apology even when it feels awkward. Show them how to serve others or what it might look like to give sacrificially. These things don't come naturally for most children, or adults for that matter. Walk them through it intentionally and give them opportunities and new environments in which to practice it. Make sure they see you doing the same. Number 5, follow through. Similar to discipline, follow through is key and is often the hardest part as a parent. Recently, my husband was working on training my son in the area of responsibility, and before leaving for work one morning, he said to me, "We had a talk last night about responsibility, and I told Tyler that I expect his chores to be completed by the time I get home from work. Please don't give him any reminders today. No reminders." Can I tell you how that about killed me as a mama? Katie says. 9 o'clock, chores weren't done. 11 o'clock, chores weren't done. And I may have developed a nervous tic trying to keep my mouth shut. Thankfully, by the time my husband got home, the chores were finally done, and I can honestly say I did not give any reminders. But it doesn't always work out that way. This parenting gig, this training kids thing, is hard. It's work. You love those kids like crazy, and if you're anything like me, you tend to let them off the hook too easy at times. But that's not parenting brave. Parenting brave requires the very same thing of us that we're trying to train in our kids. Making decisions not based solely on what is right in front of us, but with the end result in mind. In this case, that would be responsible and capable adults. And one last tip: pray. Without ceasing, pray for your children and for your role in raising them. Pray that you'll seize the opportunities, big and small, to teach them well, to let them know who they are, their true identity, and to help them see truth. Pray that you can serve as a worthy example, and that if, let's face it, when you mess up, they'll understand the grace and forgiveness of Christ that makes all of the difference in parenting, in childhood, and in life. Keep parenting brave, friends. There's no better way to do it. I love that. So many great pieces of advice. Again, that's from Katie Westenberg. And if you'd like to see the entire article for yourself, I just put it up on our 88.5 JFM's Come Together Facebook group. Go check it out. It is so good. Thanks for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show. I'll see you right back here tomorrow from 6 to 10 for another Lifeline Morning Show. Have a great day.